copywriter. Eventually, he became a creative director from his own boutique agency in Manila. He went on to earn his MF in creative writing from the University of Michigan Ann Arbor and his PhD to his composition and rhetoric from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. All of the writing and publishing fiction, while Metchel's story was one of just 86 pieces selected out of the 10,000 stories read by the editor. Metchel says that his story first appeared in UK literary journal Flash, the international short story magazine, over a year prior to being published in Flash Fiction International. Since I've long admired the earlier anthologies by the series editors, I thought I should send it in and hope for the best, Metchel says. A month later, one of the directors contacted me telling they decided to include it in the anthology. Knowing they only choose 86 stories, I'm finding it even more astonishing.
Touchmove is a short narrative about Peter's encounter with a woman which he told Roman while they were playing a game of chess. While a typhoon struck Manila, a woman came to Peter's place one night. She was drenched and perhaps cold. They were all tense because they didn't usually have female clients, so everyone was bracing themselves for being selected. Fortunately, Peter was appointed to help the woman. He handed her a towel and she went to take a shower as he prepared the essential materials for the massage. After taking a shower, the woman removed her towel in front of Peter and offered him 1,000 pesos to do anything he wanted to do to her. Peter flushed and was astonished when he massaged her backside, which he described as a goat before he felt it, and subsequently described it as leche flan. The girl requested Peter to remove his clothing, which he did. He questioned the woman if this is the reason why he chose him, and the woman denied and said that she believes that his hands are lovely and are capable of things. Because his hands were thin and horrible, Peter assumed they belonged to a monster. The woman abruptly grabbed his hands and slid them into her intimate areas. Roman was anticipating what would happen next, but Peter stayed silent and stated that she had departed after that and had vanished into the storm once again. Roman was unsatisfied and he glances at Peter for a few seconds, wondering whether he's pulling another joke on him. Roman returns his attention to the chessboard. After a while, Roman had won the game, and Peter realized that Roman is only a child, incapable of comprehending the ploys of the heart.
Feminist. The line, "She took my ugly hands and placed one on her and one on her breast with the purple rose." From the story. Majority of the people in the society thinks differently when it comes to both sex, female and male. The line somehow feels unnecessary, but I know she has her reasons for doing that. The point is the girl made the move on the man. But what if it's the other way around, where the man will make a move on the girl? For some, they might say it is allegedly wrong. Expressive. She had straight black hair that rested on her bony shoulders. Her nose was small and upturned, so there was a small wrinkle just below where her eyebrows went. I couldn't stop shaking, like I was born again, the man said on the story. The man narrating explains the girl's features, and in that way, he stated what he was feeling through his excitement and what he was thinking about that was running throughout his mind as he described the girl. Mimetic or mimesis. Reading the story by Peter Mitchell is deeper than what it's looked like after rereading it a couple of times and hearing and reading its reader's opinion and point of view about the story. For the first time that I read it, it felt intimate, especially on the part where it almost ended. But then, for the second time, it felt more intimate as I was focusing more on every word more than the first time I was reading it. But then, when I looked into this story's reader's feedback and opinion, my interpretation changed completely because Touchmove by Peter Mitchell was not all about what happened to the man and the girl intimately, but it is all about the lesson the girl gave to the readers. The things that the man saw with his own eyes within the girl's body gave it so much interpretation that anyone can or might experience. She put on my shirt and baong, took her wet clothes from the bathroom, and left the place. Disappeared in the rain again, That line from the man in the story. Pragmatic is somehow equal to the word logical. That means the situation, work, or people that is pragmatic are the ones that are very much happening in the real world and not just in your imagination. This line where the girl left just like that after what happened to her and the man can happen in the real world too, and not only women leaving men but also the vice versa. Structuralism. Her eyes were round and bright and classy, like the opening of a gin bottle. This line where the man is talking about the girl, it is as if the man is talking about a really pretty girl by just how he described her, using a metaphor and relates it to another non-living thing. Another line is, her stomach had cuts all over. Some of them were fresh and clotting. The skin above her bush was marked with what looked like a dozen cigarette burns. One of her breasts had a dark bruise the color purple. Bruises from the girl's external body just gives the viewer the point where she was physically abused, which is a violence. This line also symbolizes the bruises that people experience internally, not only to women but also to men and any other genders out there. Every punch, every slap, and every other things that has touched our skin hardly has deep bruises on one's heart and memory that will forever be remembered, that cannot be ever changed.
Terry Pratchett famously noted that stories of imagination tend to disturb those without one. So, in order for us to comprehend the beauty of Peter Mitchell's story entitled as Touchmove, we chose to employ a psychoanalytic criticism. Psychoanalytic theories are always evolving and expanding. At the most fundamental level, there is an understanding that the change of entails bringing the unconscious into the light. It is critical to know how to operate in a scenario, methodologically, because it is essential to use our minds to achieve the desired result. According to Sigmund Freud, in 1923, he quoted that, "Where eye has been, there shall ego be." So, although Freud's understanding of the nature of change over the course of his life, the idea that change entails first become aware of instructional impulse and unconscious desires, and then the learning to deal with them in a mature, rational, and reflected manner remained central of his mature thinking. However, this thing do not always go in our way. This will help us to understand how uncontrollable occurrences of forces are, though, to wreak havoc in our scientific and rational brains, and even physical characteristics become useless after looking to considering them on rare occasions.